Welcome back. Can you see that? You probably can. You could recognize that title anywhere. I thought of talking about the first gen of these games, and then the second gen, and then a couple of the movies, and then I realized there's nothing I can offer about this series that hasn't already been done to death by dozens upon dozens of other video makers far better than I am. So, the one idea I had was to just offer my story about this generation in particular. Generation 3. This is the first one I received of this generation, Pokemon Emerald. I know a lot of people prefer silver and gold to crystal, or red and blue to yellow, or ruby and sapphire, to emerald, and more power to you if you do that. Me personally, I prefer the special editions, because these have more content. The yellow version, for example, gave you all 3 of the starters, which means if I wanted to collect them all, it would be a lot easier to do so, because now I don't have to worry about getting the other 2 starters. Because you get all 3. You also get an Eevee, you get all the legendaries, and then there's only a couple exclusives in red and blue that you have to worry about. So, and then with Gen 2, you had Crystal, which gave you one of the legendary dogs for free, basically. Because in Gen 2, they introduced roaming legendaries, and roaming legendaries are probably the most annoying type of Pokemon you could ever hope to try to catch. They were what the Master Ball was made for, in my personal opinion. But if you wanted to collect all 3 legendary dogs, you would have to get all 3 of the Gen 2 games. For example, you need to get gold, silver, and crystal. In crystal, you could get your Suicune for free. Then you use your Master Ball on one of the other 2 legendary dogs, roaming dogs that are out there. And then you get the other one in another cartridge for the legendary dog, and then you trade the 3rd one over, and then you have all 3 burnt dogs, and you don't have to worry about it. In Gen 3, they have the same concept. They had 5 games in Gen 3. I consider the remakes of Gen 1 to be part of Gen 3. So they had 5 games. You have Emerald here, which came last. You had Ruby. You had Sapphire. You had Fire Red, and Leaf Green. Yes, I have all 5. I even have Mystery Dungeon Red. Now, the reason why I decided to talk about Gen 3 is because I have a long history with these games. You can collect every single Pokemon save for just 6 with these 5 cartridges. You just need 2 Game Boy Advances and a link cable or wireless cable or whatever. Just a means to trade Pokemon. You need just these 5 cartridges to get everything except for 6. The 6 that you can't get are Mew, Celebi, Deoxys, Jirachi, Ho-Oh, and Lugia. Those are the only 6 that you cannot get on these 5 cartridges. I am aware that you could get 3 of those 6 if you had a GameCube, a Game Boy Advance add-on, Pokemon Coliseum, and Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. If you had all of those, then on the special Jirachi disc of, I believe it was Coliseum, the Jirachi disc, you pop in your Jirachi disc into your GameCube with one of your Game Boy Advance cartridges. You put the cartridge into the Game Boy Advance add-on onto your GameCube. You load up the Jirachi disc and you trade your Jirachi right onto your cartridge. There's Jirachi. The other two are a bit harder to get. Ho-Oh, you have to basically complete Pokemon Coliseum. There are a bunch of Pokemon that you could collect using the snag balls that are dark Pokemon that you have to purify all of them. And then you could finally get Ho-Oh after you purify every single dark Pokemon there ever was possible to catch. You'll get a Ho-Oh. You could trade that Ho-Oh the same way you got the Jirachi. You put the Coliseum into the disc, into the GameCube, you put your Game Boy Advance cartridge into the Game Boy Advance slot, and you were able to collect your Ho-Oh. For Lugia, it's basically complete XD Gale of Darkness, then you'll get your Lugia. He needs to be purified first, and then you can do that. And then you'll have all but 3. Mew, Celebi, and Deoxys. As far as I'm aware, you cannot get those 3 without an event, or breaking the game in some way. I don't know if the question mark egg glitch, the Pomeg berry glitch, or whatever, that might get you those 3 somehow. I know the items, like the tickets and stuff like that, they're in the games, like a hex code or whatever. They're in the game. They're in there. You just have to, like, get it and make the game think that you have it, and then it'll give it to you. Then you can use it to get the Pokemon. So, with that out of the way, let's talk about my journey with Pokemon Generation 3. This is my first cartridge. I chose the Trico Pokemon, mostly because I was watching the anime at the time and I thought Trico looked cool. He looked the coolest, so I got Trico. I collected everything that I could, captured a bunch of Pokemon. My Elite Four team that I beat the Elite Four with was Sceptile, the evolved form of Trico, Rayquaza. You were able to get Rayquaza early before the Elite Four in Emerald. So I had Rayquaza in there. I had Gardevoir. Gardevoir was a very good Psychic-type Pokemon. You can catch a Ralts, and I believe it was like a 3% encounter rate on a certain route, like right before the town that your in-game dad's in. So you right outside that town, you can collect a Ralts. And you collected that. What else? I had a Golduck. I fished to get a Psyduck, and I evolved it into a Golduck. Golduck and I went way back. So we had Sceptile, Rayquaza, Golduck, and Gardevoir. What were the other 2? Beautifly, yeah, we had a Beautifly. Of course, we picked up a Wurmple and leveled it up to a Silcoon. And then we had a Beautifly. So that's 5. What was my 6th? Can I remember what my 6th was? It might have been a Mightyena. Yeah, it might have been a Mightyena. It's just some throwaway Pokemon, you know. Just something I picked up, a Mightyena. So, there you go. Just 6. I beat the Elite Four. And for a while, I was done with Emerald. For a while, I was done with it. I did get Kyogre and Groudon. You could get, you could get all 3 in one cartridge, in this one. So I got all 3 of those. I don't believe I got the Regis until later. Then, my second game in this series was a Fire Red, a remake of the Gen 1 Kanto games. And this is where my journey truly began. Because when I started up my Fire Red, the late 90s came flushing back to me. This was around 2008 to 2009 at the time. So the Game Boy Advance was dying out, and we were getting a bunch of Game Boy DS games around that time. So Game Boy was dead, dying at the time. It wasn't completely dead. And, you know, GameStop was still selling Game Boy Advance games, so that's where I got these 3 here. I got these 3 from GameStops. These 2, Ruby and Sapphire, I got from Florida GameStops. And this leaf green I picked up from a Tennessee GameStop. These two I got brand new, the Fire Red and the Emerald. So I got this one brand new. I picked Charizard, of course, because, you know, my man Charizard. Charizard was my very first starter when I picked the game out when I was like, what, 6? Yeah, I played the game in like 1999, and of course I picked Charizard, because, you know, it's a dragon-looking, it's a dragon. It looks like a dragon, it's not a dragon type, but it's a dragon. It's more of a dragon than Dragonite, okay? He looks more like a dragon than Dragonite, so Charizard. He looked like a dragon, I love dragons, so I picked him when I was 6 years old, so whatever. So I picked him again, and I beat the story again. And then, something amazing happened. I got new content. Bill called me and said, hey, I need your help doing a little thing. So, I went with Bill to do a thing, and we went to this place called the Sevi Islands. This was brand new territory. That wasn't Kanto, it wasn't Johto, it wasn't Hoenn. This was brand new territory. And I loved this new area. The Sevi Islands is probably my favorite location in all of the 3 generations here. So, we picked up Moltres on the Sevi Islands. I believe he was on Island 3. I'm not as confident in my memory there. But we picked up the Moltres. We picked up the Zapdos and Articuno. We picked up Mewtwo. We picked up Snorlax. We picked up as many people as we can get in this. And then I realized I wanted to catch them all. I did. I wanted to catch them all. So that is exactly what I did. And the first thing I did was pick up a Leaf Green. Because I wanted to get the exclusives from Leaf Green, trade them over. I also wanted to get the Squirtle, the other 2 starters. I wanted to get the other 2 starters, get them in here. I needed to get 2 more EVs to get the other 2 evolutions for this. So I picked that up. I did 2 runs through here up until I got a Master Ball. 2 runs, so I got the second starter in an EV. I put the Master Ball in one of the 2, ported it over. What else did I do? I did it again to get the other starter and the other EV. And then I had all 3 evolutions. I had a couple Master Balls. I picked up one of the Roamers. Since I picked Charizard, the Roamer was a Suicune. So I used through my Master Ball, collected Suicune. I believe I actually had to do a complete playthrough of this. Because you see, you only got the other roaming dogs when you completed the Elite Four, you beat the Elite Four, then the roaming dog will appear. So actually, yeah, that is what I did. So I beat them, got the Master Ball, I beat the Elite Four, then I used that Master Ball to catch the dog. So if I got a Squirtle, I would get an Entei. I captured the Entei, then I traded everybody over. New game. Picked Venusaur. Got the other Eevee. Got the Master Ball. Beat the Elite Four. Captured Raikou. Traded everybody over. I got it mixed up. Squirtle is for Raikou, and Venusaur is for Entei. There you go. Yeah, I had to fix that mix-up there. Now, I didn't do this in these 2, but there are roamers in the Hoenn games. So I had to actually do 2 playthroughs of Emerald here. The first playthrough, I was able to get Latias. I traded everything unique from here into the Fire Red here. Everything unique. Filling up the PC. New game. Latios. We got Latios. We got everything we could. Put it in here. I was lucky enough to get a Surskit during an event. You know, there's time-based events in this, because this one, and I believe these 2 as well, not these 2, these 3 games had a night and day battery. And it could die. In fact, it did die on all 3 of these. So luckily, while the batteries were still working, I was able to transfer 2 more EVs from this one. I had to do 2 more playthroughs to get 2 more EVs and trade them into this Emerald here. Because the day and night battery had already died on this one, and it was dying on this one. And this one was still working, so I traded both of the EVs in here. I maxed the Affection. I got the Umbreon during the night. I got the Espeon during the day. Traded those 2 over to the Fire Red. What I did after that was... what else did I do? Oh, yeah. Then I visited Florida. and I picked up the Ruby and the Sapphire. I needed these two because, there were 2 Pokemon that you could not get using these 3 games. You can get almost everything except for 2 Pokemon. So yeah, I basically picked these up just for 1 Pokemon each. I believe in Ruby there was a Zangoose that was completely exclusive to this game. You cannot get a Zangoose in anything else. So I got the Ruby here to get the Zangoose and ported him over. I got the Sapphire here to get a Lunatone. You can get Solrock in the Emerald version. You can't get Lunatone. So to get Lunatone, you had to get a Sapphire version. So you got the Sapphire version, captured a Lunatone, and traded him over. And then came the very, very, very annoying part. You see, the National Pokédex, the Johto Pokemon, you noticed that there was a scant very few Johto Pokemon, maybe about 5 to 10 total, that you could encounter here. Well, once you beat the main Elite Four, then in this game the Safari Zone opens up, and a new area opens up the Safari Zone with a bunch of Johto Pokemon. So you had to collect all of those. And in here, once you beat the Elite Four, the second 4, then the next couple of hours, there's 7 islands. You got to visit 3 during the main game, so 4 through 7 opened up. And the post-game. So, and you could find Johto Pokemon, like Larvitar and others in here. So, I collected all the Johto in here, I collected all the Johto in here, and then I realized, I haven't gotten a Johto starter yet. Well, that came to be my nightmare. BCC, there was 1 Johto Pokemon I had left to get. Just 1. Technically 2, because it could evolve. But there was 1 I had left. And it took every iota of my patience to do. I am, of course, talking about a dumb fish. That fish's name is Feebas. You see, the brilliant developers at whatever they call the Game Freak, the brilliant developers decided to make this fish available only on, I believe, 2 routes, or 1 route. It is 1 body of water. And there was only 6 tiles that you could fish on to find these fish. And the encounter rate was not 100% on these tiles. So, if you decided to fish 1 time on every tile, there was a chance that you would pass all 6 of the tiles this Feebas fish could be found on. You could miss it, because the encounter rate wasn't 100%. So you would still never know if that tile that you just passed was a Feebas tile. So, what I had to do was I fished on every tile 10 times. I had to do 10, because obviously, maybe with 10 times, you'd have the likelihood of encountering the Feebas at least once, right? At least once. No luck. I had the worst luck with that. No. I did 10 fishing in every single tile, and I didn't find one. So I did it again. 10 more times. 10 times every single fishing tile. In fact, on every tile, I even tried to go north. So I even faced all 4 directions when fishing to try to catch this dumb fish. And it was eluding me. It kept eluding me. Days passed. Weeks passed. I was at my wit's end. I was done. And then I decided to fish 1 more time. I swear this is truth. I decided to fish 1 more time. I picked a random spot in the lake. And there it was. The fish that had eluded me for all this time was finally there. And I captured it with a Master Ball because I had one left over and I was done. I was not false swiping to lower its HP then putting it to sleep. I was not doing any of that. I was just going to catch this fish and I was done. Then I had to maximize the fish's affections for me, and max its beauty. Because, you see, it evolves into a Milotic when it's beautiful. So, to complete my Hoenn Pokédex, I evolved this Feebas into a Milotic. And finally, I had completed the Hoenn Pokédex. I had finally completed it all on my Emerald. And then I realized you could only get one of the 3 starters for Johto. Just one. Only one. One. Just one. Only one. So, I picked the Cyndaquil. And this was starting to fill up, so I had to use my Leaf Green. I traded every single thing that was on here. I had to capture dozens upon dozens, hundreds of Pidgeys and Rattatats in Pallet Town, Route 1 or whatever. And then I traded everything. Over hours. It took me hours. I traded everything that I had in my Emerald onto my Leaf Green. I had to start a new game. I had to beat the Elite Four again. And then I had to capture a lot of Poochienas and Talos and level 1 Wurmples and all that garbage. I had to capture 100 of those. I had to trade everything over from here. But here's the problem. Some of the Hoenn Pokemon I had were already evolved. So what I had to do was take a bunch of my Pokemon and put them into the daycare with a Ditto. And I had to get eggs. And then I hatched the eggs. I had to run around hatching the eggs to get the pre-evolved forms of all of these evolved Hoenn Pokemon that I had collected. So then I had to level up them in Emerald, because some of them were 3 stages, right? So I had the first stage, and then I had my 3rd stage. Then I had to level them up to get the 2nd stage evolution for a bunch of them. But then I finally completed it again. I got Totodile. Then I had to do this all over again. This was starting to fill up, so I had to use a Ruby. I traded everything over onto the Ruby. I collected a bunch of Poochienas and whatever, and traded everything from all those level 1s, and traded everything from here onto here. Then what did I do? I realized that for those 3-stage Pokemons, I now had the 2nd stage. The 2nd stage and the 3rd stage. Then I had to breed a bunch of these Pokemon again to get the eggs, to get to the 1st stage Pokemon again. Now that I had all the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd stage Pokemons, everybody maxing this out, I had to start a new game on this. I had to beat the game again. And then I had to catch a bunch of garbage. And then I had to trade everything over from here onto here just to get that last final Chikorita. Now that I had the 3 Johto starters, I traded the Johto starters into here. I leveled them up. I got them to their max evolved form. And finally, after a very, very nightmarish time, I had 7. I had 7 left to go. You see, I was missing one. I was missing a Hitmontop. You see, to get a Hitmontop, you had to evolve a Tyrogue at X level with his attack and defense equal. Well, you see, levels aren't exactly constant, it's hard to predict, at least for me, what their stats are going to be at the level they need to be to level up, to evolve, right? So, I had to get a bunch of those vitamins. I had to level the Tyrogue up to the level just before he levels up, just to check his attacks and defense. I added enough of the vitamins to give his attack and defense equal, right? So I just have to pray to the random number generators that he only received 1 in attack and 1 in defense, or 2 in attack and 2 in defense. If you got a 2 in attack and 1 in defense upon level up, that was no good. If you got a 2 in defense and 1 in attack upon level up, that was also no good. It had to be even, either both 1s or both 2s upon level up, to get that Hitmon top. So that took a long time. Luckily, it didn't take as long as it took to get a Feebas, or to get the Johto starters. You see, I didn't have a GameCube. I had a PlayStation 2. I didn't have a GameCube, Game Boy Advance add-on. I had a PlayStation 2. I did not have Pokemon Colosseum or Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. I had the Dragon Ball Z Budokai games on a PlayStation 2. As you can see, I just didn't have Colosseum to get the 3 Johto starters a lot easier, so I had to do things the hard way. And I did them the hard way. And I got them. I got that Hitmontop. I traded the Hitmontop into here, and I had all but 6 left on my Fire Red. All but 6. Eventually, I plan to get a GameCube, Game Boy Advance add-on, Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, Pokemon the Colosseum, the Jirachi disc. And I plan to get those last 3 Pokemon. I plan to trade those last 3 into here. And I plan to have a complete set. Because I plan to break my throwaway cartridges with the Pomeg glitch. And I plan to get those tickets. And I plan to get the Mew, the Celebi, and the Deoxys. And I plan to trade those 3 into here. And I plan to catch them all. Gen 3 was clearly the hardest of the Pokemon generations to catch them all in. Especially if you were just using the cartridges and you weren't using other consoles. Because technically Gen 3, if we want to be accurate, the GameCube games were part of Gen 3. Because you could trade Pokemon from them into your cartridges here. And you could get 3 Pokemon that you can't get on here from them. You know, there was also... Actually, I may not even need to get the GameCube and all this stuff, because I'm just now remembering that there was a ticket to get the Ho and Lugia on 2, I don't know which one. It was either the Kanto remakes or the Gen 3 games. It was one of these 2, but you could get a ticket to get Ho and Lugia. So, I might look into getting that with the Pomeg glitch. And then, I think there was a way to get Jirachi as well. I think there was a way. And if I'm remembering wrong, then the only way to get a Jirachi is the GameCube option. I'm thinking there's a way to get Jirachi using the ticket glitch here. I'm just gonna have to fiddle with that. But I stopped after getting everything but 6, because I was just done. The Johto starters had just killed me. Just spending hours upon hours upon hours upon hours trading and trading, starting a new game, beating it, trading everything back, starting a new game, doing it again. And the Feebas, and the Hitmontop, it was too much. I was done. I had to take a break. So I couldn't do those glitches back then. I was done. But that was my story. Because I think that might be a unique story for these games. I think it might be. Because these games have been done to death. Everybody has talked about them to death. But I think, offering my story, how unlucky I was with Feebas, how insane it made me trying to capture that thing, how determined I was to get Feebas. I think that might be a worthy audiocast for today. I thought about doing the other generations, but I decided this was the one I had the longest story on. This was the longest one I could talk about. And this was the one that I spent a very long time completing. This has been the Pokemon Generation 3 audiocast. I hope you enjoyed this audiocast. And remember, Be imaginative. And if you ever want to catch 'em all, do not do what I did. Do not. You will save yourself a lot of heartache just shilling some extra money for GameCube, Game Boy Advance add-on, and just getting the Johto starters on Coliseum. You'll save a lot of time. You'll save a lot of time. Remember, be imaginative. I said that already.